Well, hello. I'm Slack, and welcome to My Nightmare. Now, this isn't a game. This is actually, it's actually my nightmare. Well, not this specifically, although it's close, because you see, my microphone, it seems, and my headset have kind of stopped working. After fiddling with it some, I was able to actually get this to record, but the headphone part of my awesome headphones no longer work. I don't know if it's broken completely, or if it got stepped on, or if it's fixable, or what. But for the time being, I at least hopefully can keep the microphone part working, which is all that worked in the PS4 to begin with. Or maybe it was broken and that was why it never worked. I don't know. But anyway, the point of this video isn't because of that. That was just a quick update. Whee! No, the actual point of this video is I mentioned I was actually watching a Markiplier video, and when the Five Nights at Candy's video part 3 that he did or something like that. I'm not a big fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's series, so I don't really watch a lot of them. But I did watch a little bit of that one, and actually I think I watched all of that one. And he mentioned a nightmare that he had, and he talked about how he has them frequently and vividly. And I actually don't have that problem. I rarely have, I rarely, okay, I'm going to stop trying to say that. I very rarely have a nightmare. I usually have good dreams. If I have a recurring dream or sort of nightmare, they're actually usually about Jurassic Park, which is a whole other story to tell, because it's not always just Jurassic Park. But I do actually have one nightmare that creeped me out. It was actually a few years ago. And so I thought, and I actually mentioned that I might make a video talking about this nightmare. So I thought, it's late at night, and I've just finally got my mic working again. So I thought, why not? I would actually recount this nightmare to everyone. This video, of course, won't have any gameplay footage. This isn't a video game video. But also, obviously, I want to do more than gaming with my channel. My channel is not going to just be a gaming channel. And this is the first foray into non-gaming material. Would have been a lot easier if my mic worked a lot better. I could do this a lot more, whereas this is what I wanted to do. But that's neither here or there. So, okay, so anyway, I guess sit back, relax, and enjoy my nightmare, I guess. No, really, I hope it's not really all that good, but hopefully it'll maybe be something interesting that you might find fascinating. So basically, here I am, some 2 minutes into the video, starting my nightmare just now. Basically, the nightmare started. I was about, I want to say about 18 or so. I was either 18 to 22. I can't remember. I was basically an adult. I mean, by legal standards anyway. And the nightmare started out differently than most of my nightmares. Most nightmares, when I do have them, as I said, they're about Jurassic Park, or they are something scary. But usually they're like quick flashes. I don't really have like a specific set of nightmares. But this one was different. This one started out. I was asleep in my bed. And in my nightmare, I get like teleported to this differing dreamscape that I've never seen before. And in this dreamscape is like basically it's a forest with like a dirt path and trees that form a canopy over it, but the trees themselves don't encroach upon the dirt path. There's just a dirt path, like a little bit of grass on the side, and then there's like a forest, surrounding the dirt path, and then the trees canopy over it and everything. And it was at night, and there was a creature running around, which I always have just called Bigfoot, because it looked like a giant Wookiee sort of creature. It looked like Bigfoot, So as after the dream, that was just what I dubbed it, because that was easier. But anyway, so in the dream there's Bigfoot, and I'm next to this path, kind of in the grassy area, but between the trees and the path, and I'm just there. But I know in my dream, how you know things in your dream. I know that I'm not actually there. I'm actually. I'm like viewing like if you ever seen like a movie where a character has visions and they can like watch the events happen like they're happening in real time, but they're not really there. They're seeing them through visions. They're not even corporally there. So that was like the way that my dream started out. And in my dream, I'm watching as this Bigfoot creature is running. He's terrified. He's this big woolly monster creature. but he's scared. He's just really really scared, and he's running for his life. I mean, this isn't like some light jog through the woods. He is just booking it down this forest path, you know. And at first there's nothing there, and you see him run by like, you know, like there's like a cabin that he ran by, you know. I mean, there was a boy and a girl there, and I think he was after the boy and girl. I don't really remember that much of my dream, but I think he was after the boy and girl, but he was also running for his own life. And whatever was after him was not protecting the boy and girl. They happened to be saved by, you know, a greater evil being after him, or I guess, you know, whatever, like a predator to him. You know, he's running. And so I'm watching all this unfold. I'm watching him run in the forest and everything. And finally, what's chasing him appears. And basically, she bursts from the ground. It's a purple-eyed woman. And the best way to describe her, if you've ever played Final Fantasy VIII, Sorceress Edea is basically the way that she looked. And I had played Final Fantasy recently, not like super recently, but after this point, I had played it like within the last couple of years, and I'm assuming that, you know, influenced the vision that I had of this woman, because she was just this dark haired, kind of purple-eyed, kind of sorceress-looking woman, you know. And so that was the best way to describe her. She was wearing black. She had the purple eyes. She had dark black hair that was kind of combed back, and basically she burst from the ground riding on these giant earthworms, and they all had these massive fangs, and like normally my dreams are actually pretty vivid and realistic. Even if it's something that doesn't make sense, my brain makes it work. You know, I mean, or I guess it's just the way my dreams are. So these were pretty realistic earthworms with giant teeth, you know, and she was riding them. And I think she said something to Bigfoot, but I don't quite remember. But she had in her hand, she pulled up in her hand as she's chasing Bigfoot. She stops, and like Bigfoot stops too, and like I'm like between them. I'm like Bigfoot's on my left down the path, and she's on my right going down the other way, you know, on her giant earthworms. And she like reaches up with her hand, and she's got like just tons of worms in her hand. And she starts eating them and everything, and then she's just like they're a snack for her, you know. And so she eats them, and then from that point, like she starts chasing after Bigfoot again. And there's like a back and forth sort of scene where I see them running and chasing, like I'm watching them run along this path and everything. And I kind of get the impression that like she can manipulate animals, or she has like these strange wild animals, and so basically, I you know, I'm watching this happen, and it's right near the end of the dream. I can tell stuff's getting bad. She's catching up to him. He's running away and everything. But they both pass me again. You know, like I said, I was kind of moving in the dream, but I was being teleported. I wasn't walking. I would just end up further down from them and watch them run past. And Bigfoot runs past, and he gets a little ways away, and she follows, chasing him. And like I said, up to this point, I've been an observer in the dream. But the creepiest part is she stops and she stares directly at me and eats some more earthworms from her hand. She's got more little tiny ones, you know, and are eating them. And she looks directly at me, and she leans down and whispers, "You're next," to me. And that was when I woke up. And that alone was like the freakiest crap that like I've ever dreamed. Like I've had a couple nightmares. There's been some scary ones, but nothing like this nightmare. And but it wasn't over then, because when I woke up, I guess I was sort of still half asleep, half awake. I don't really know how else to explain it. But basically, all of a sudden, there were dogs that you could be heard in the distance, that you in the dream, that you kind of had like an idea that she could control. When I woke up, my front is turned to the wall, so my back is turned to my room, and I heard behind me an enormously loud dog growling at me, like a super loud sound. And it was creepy. It was right behind me. And as far as I know, I'm awake now. I'm pretty sure I was half asleep, half awake, because you're kind of in that daze, you know. But I was freaking out, you know. I mean, because I'm conscious enough now that at least in my mind, I'm hearing this giant dog. And at the time, I had a knife under my pillow, and because I didn't have a gun, you know, or anything. And I just liked having it under there. And I remember reaching up and grabbing hold of that knife, like real tightly. You know, it was just like a little buck knife, a little pocket knife, you know. And I held on to that knife extremely tightly. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, but, you know, I held on to it, you know. And I actually fell back asleep like that. That was, one of the things that was kind of silly is that why I think I was like, halfway awake, halfway asleep, is that I fell back to sleep like that, and I woke up later on, and then it was sunny, of course, and the only thing that was like the same from that night was that I was still clutching that knife in my hand, and I don't move when I dream or when I sleep, so it wasn't like I had gone to sleep and moved in my sleep and grabbed the knife. I was at least conscious enough to move when I grabbed the knife, which is what made the dog growling so creepy. Now, that part was that's like the creepiest nightmare that I've ever had, and it was definitely freaky. I mean, it freaked me out. It still freaks me out. I mean, for for a while I was sitting there and I joked with my friends. I was like, if I run into any woman with purple eyes, I'm out of there. But luckily that's not really a normal occurrence. I think I would at least know. But no, I mean, that was definitely a freaky dream by itself. And it was something that was so real and so powerful. It stuck. It still sticks with me. I mean, it's still something I think about. And like I said, I don't normally have nightmares like that, and like I don't want another one like that because it was so terrifying, so vivid and vicious. Well, and now this part, I'll leave up to y'all to believe or not, because obviously I only have what I was told of it. But according to, I had two friends at the time that were two of my best friends, and that day when we met up, I was, like I said, it may have been when I was 17, because I may have been in school still, or 16. I may have still been in school. I can't remember, but I was anywhere from 16 to 22. We met up the next day because we were friends. We'd meet up a lot, and as we were there, I was excited to tell them about this nightmare because I don't normally have nightmares, and I like creepy stuff. They like creepy stuff. We were bored people in a small town. And so I go to tell them and everything, and I'm like, hey, I got something to tell you, and they're like, we do too, and both of them start mentioning that they had a nightmare, and we kind of have this like little moment where the three of us are like, oh, you too, oh, cool, what was yours about, and so they started telling me about their nightmares, and one of my friends mentioned, one of them mentioned that his nightmare involved someone manipulating animals, and the other one I can't remember, but something about, oh, he was being chased by dogs. That's right. The other ones, he was being chased by dogs, and so like, and I was like, well, that's kind of creepy considering that my dream, involved dogs and involved, this sorceress riding on, giant worms and everything. And so I asked them what time their dream happened, and everything, and they mentioned when it happened, and because I was kind of asleep awake, I don't know specifically what time mine happened, but I knew it was pretty late at night, it was close to morning, because I know I could tell I hadn't slept that long from when I fell back asleep to when I woke up, and everything, and it was light. So like the time frame of when it happened was eerily close to when I'm pretty sure I had my nightmare. But we all three had these nightmares separately on that day. And it was probably just coincidence, just stuff, and everything. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty neat coincidence, and that's all it was. But as a horror fan, someone who likes scary stuff, someone who enjoys all that and everything, I like to entertain just for fun the possibility, that it was something more, I mean, of course, obviously it was just a bunch of dreams that we all happened to have on the same day, and it was just kind of a cool little thing to add to it, and obviously, like I said, I've only got what they told me happened, I mean, I don't know, they may have embellished some part of their stories, I don't know, they probably did, just knowing them, but even still, it was kind of neat that we all had this little moment of, ooh, of a chill running down your spine. But this, like I said, this was a bit of a different video. I wish my microphone worked. That's pretty much it. That's my nightmare. I know that I'm not very good at telling creepy stories about myself. There was no build up or drama or anything to that. But I did mention that I was going to record it, so I thought, well, I better go ahead and do it. I do want to do it because, it's something that I would like to go ahead and record and everything, and it's super late, and I thought, well, it's late at night, maybe that'd make it better, make it more spooky, but it really doesn't. And recounting the dream doesn't bring back the terror that it once did, because, it's been, years since I've had that dream. But for a while, just remembering it was enough to give me the chills, I mean, because it was such a creepy dream. If you like this, I could eventually go into my Jurassic Park dreams, as I call them. They're not always about Jurassic Park, but they almost always involve dinosaurs and me fighting them and stuff. And most of them are silly and stupid, but some of them are kind of I don't know. I can't really see them were really spooky because they're only spooky because they were in a nightmare. And when you're in a nightmare, that's what makes that creepy. There isn't actually an actual spookiness to nightmares. Unless when you tell them to someone that's creepy, but it's not the same as actually being there because that fear is so real. Even if it's something that in real life you wouldn't be afraid of. But anyway, that was pretty much it. I wanted to do more videos like this with me discussing things and maybe have some pictures and stuff like that on my channel besides just gaming. But now that my microphone is pretty much, I don't even know how I got it to work this time. And if I can't get it to work on the PlayStation later on, then that might be, I may have to wait on my YouTube channel for a while until I can get me a new microphone. But, which is really sad. I really, really like this microphone. If I can get it to work, then I'm going to keep working with it, but I don't know. But until I get me a better microphone, there probably won't be many videos like this, because I have a feeling that moving from the PlayStation to the computer and back again could make an already bad situation worse. And I'll probably just keep it on the PlayStation, because that's where I do record my videos. But, we'll see. I'll work with it and see what I can get it to do. But I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe. It's a little bit shorter than some of my videos, but not by much, like 4 minutes. I don't mean to keep making 16, 17 to 20 minute long videos. It just it works out because I don't know. It's just easier on me than, I don't know. It's just easier for me to feel like I've got like actual stuff in when I do that. I don't know when this will actually get viewed. As right now, I don't think I actually have anyone that watches my videos, but eventually it will get viewed, and you'll have views there. So when you do see this, even if it's years in the future, leave a comment. Let me know if you've had a creepy nightmare, what it was about. Let me know what you thought about my nightmare, if you've had any weird experiences like that, any nightmare you want to share, anything like that you want to share, any just dreams that you like that you want to share. Just, leave a comment and let me know, and I'll try and respond and everything. And I hope you enjoyed well enough, at least, that, you were like, ooh, that's a pretty interesting thing. But you probably weren't, because I know I wasn't, and I'm the one telling it. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'm still working on an outro. Don't really have one yet. But I hope you will watch more of my videos, because it gives me validation for my existence. Goodbye.